In this video, I'm going to provide an overview of each of the different blocks or objects that make up individual pages. So as you are creating content, what you will find is that all of the Curaytor pages that are built for you have a specific set or series of objects as to build out the page. And each individual object has settings inside of it that can be manipulated to achieve the style that you're looking for. So in this video, as mentioned, I'm going to provide an overview of each of those objects and how they relate with one another. So as you are adding a new section or block into the page or piece of content that you're creating, you will see this menu pop up as you click this black plus sign. This is an explanation of the different sections that we have. So starting with text with image, you can see each individual expression of that block or section. And so you'll be able to see what it will look like as you publish it. So you can see we have side by side, we have stacked, there's a grid, and a lot of different options here as well. Each option has individual settings. So let's say you chose stacked alternative. You can also have different settings within this block. So you can change the style modifiers to have dark mode, for example, or you can hide the accent text that is above the headline. You can also adjust the buttons if you would want just the button to show or just the link or vice versa. A lot of different options available here, but it gives you a good understanding of each individual object here as well. Now, if you are using a specific style or you chose one, but you think, this might not be the right version of this object for me after all, you can go ahead and change the style within that individual block expression. So you could also choose side by side, for example, or maybe you would want to choose this media with grid instead. So just individual objects and different preferences within each one will make up those pieces of your page. Now, it's important to note the different types of content within or different items. So you have objects. Now that is going to be typically the text and the media, kind of like the bulk of each individual object here. And then you'll also have items. So for example, right here, your items are going to be these headlines. So as you add additional headlines, you can see it kind of changes that in real time. So you can have up to 4 grid options within each one. And then you can see if you click into each individual one, you can also set an icon. So some items have photos available to upload, whereas some have even buttons or accent text. So you can, just different items have just different settings within them, and you'll learn each individual object's nuances as you continue to learn the platform. But in this case, you can also add an icon here. And then if you would like to have the heading not display, you can do so, or same thing with the content. So just different options within each style. And so I suggest kind of going through and just getting to know as you create new content. It's important to note that, in onboarding, we set you up with the objects that in the different pages that you're going to need to have your website be really functionally beautiful and be able to have all of the content that folks are able to use. But if you do find yourself wanting to create additional content on your site over time, this is a great resource to have. Now, basic text is a little bit more streamlined. So you have grid options and then single text as well. Hero has several options within it. So you saw me use the stacked version in a previous video, but there's also a background image where you have text on top and then kind of a darkened opacity on top of that. And then there's lots of different options as well with different slideshows. This one is nice because the slideshow actually is animated as you're going through. So if you had different items, you can select different photos from your media gallery here, and then those images will kind of rotate through on the live page so that you can see that headline or that scrolling effect. It's just kind of a nice way to add some movement to the page. Heroes also have a few different options, and I would suggest kind of going through them as well. You can also have a form version of a hero if you would like, and I'll cover forms here in a moment. Um, you have dual media here as well. And again, just as you're going, you'll be able to find each individual media where they belong as well. Your CTAs, and this is where I will chat about forms as well because they kind of go hand in hand. CTAs are just whenever you want to add a button. So there are a couple different options here between dual CTAs and this dual CTA as well. This one's a little bit more simple with just the outline, whereas this has color as well. You can also have one with an image or just a simple bar as well. Forms are the other kind of call to action version where you want to collect information. So you can have text with form and image, text with form, or just the form as well. Let's say we wanted to have the text with form here. Now, whenever you see a form, you'll see this kind of text. Click here to select a form you would like to play or you would like to display on the page. And when you click that, you'll be brought to the object setting for form. Now you can opt to have that not show, but that's the point of this object, right? You would want the form there, and then you'll select from the drop down here. Now each form is a little bit different, but let's say we want the standard multi-purpose. You'll have first name, last name, email, and phone number. Perhaps you want email registration only, and then that just has the email there. Perhaps you want the unlock access, and then you'll have a few different options there. Let's get started is the another form option here, and then you can kind of see like this one has a little bit more information in it as well. Different forms for different purposes. I usually use email registration most frequently for forms on individual pages, since they are they're a way to capture, of course, information from visitors to your website. Going down, we'll also have a gallery object. This one has a couple of different display options as well, including an animated carousel. Now, this animated carousel is great for logos. So if you have any designations you'd like to display on the website, or if you've been featured in publications, this is a great way to say, as seen in, and have those logos in an animated carousel going across the page. If you're displaying photos of a listing, a grid or a slider might be a great way to do that. Features is going to have, if you have a lot of text that you'd like to kind of be consolidated, this is a great way to use that. If you're displaying steps of a process, this is a great way to do that as well. Or features of a property, for example. So you have a couple different options in here. And then again, each has its individual nuances and settings that you're able to modify. So for example, accordion with media, you will have different items here. And then each individual item has an image of its own. So if it's, step one of the buying process is scheduling a showing, then maybe there's a picture of a door opening, and step two is, putting an offer in, and maybe there's you signing a piece of paper with a client. And then maybe the third step is closing, and maybe it's a cheersing photo, something like that. But this is a nice way to kind of display process-oriented information in a succinct way without, having the page full of text scrolling down. Stats is self-explanatory. If you are displaying numbers, or you are, wanting to have your production stats or market update, this is a great option as well. So play with these and make sure that you're, incorporating some numbers onto your website. FAQ is great for, of course, frequently asked questions. So there's a couple of different options here. Now you can have accordion or accordion with media. This is nice because each individual FAQ will be able to drop down. So when you're on your live version of the site here, your headline is showing, but then the body text is not. So you'll be able to kind of click to expand this into the full version. So again, it's a nice way to display a lot of content in a succinct manner. Embed, we talked about in a previous video, but this is a great way to display a YouTube video or an embed object, whether it's a Google map or even a Calendly embed or something like that, where you're able to have an embed code. This is a great way to use that. Related content we talked about in a previous video as well, but this is a great way if you have other pages or other blogs, for example, or listings or a community page that you want those items displayed on the website. This is a great way to do that and pull in other content. Let's say we use grid, and you can see it kind of defaults to just pulling in any pages on the site. We will have a couple different style modifiers available. You can, of course, edit the different objects that show on the settings up at the top. And then your related content settings would be the way that you can control what's pulling through. So perhaps you want just any communities within your community collection that can show, and you can, increase the numbers that show here. Perhaps you want your blog posts and just any blog posts to show. Again, you can have those numbers display, or maybe this is a team page and you want your users to show. You can have that display as well. You can also hand select pages. So if there's only a handful of pages that you wanted to display, and that's kind of the set pages that you don't want new pages showing automatically. You just want these 5 pages, for example. You can grab that as well, and then as you select them, they'll be able to display on the page itself, right, when you click save. From here, you can also edit a couple of modifiers here. So whether or not you want the description to show, if you want different columns in there, you can also change the style as you're going as well. So maybe you want this displayed in a vertical way. Perhaps you would like more of a slider option. You can do that as well. So lots of different things to explore here as you use related content. People is going to be your team. So the people who are added as team members and accounts in the back end can be able to display here. So again, this is a good option to use if you are building a page that you need to pull in team members for, keeping in mind that typically that is done for you in onboarding on your about page, and then ongoing edits are easier to do because this is through a related content object, and it's more so just adding an account in the back end. Again, there's another video on that, but again, you have this option to go ahead and change or use additional styles here. Reviews are also pulling in from the backend, and there's a couple of options between slider, grid, and just a single review. So let's say we had our slider review here, and we want, this kind of functions the same way as a related content object. So you can change any of the different items that show here. You can change it to dark mode if you would like, which changes the style a little bit there. Or you can also go into your settings and go ahead and automatically add reviews. So this would be whenever you add new reviews onto the website, that pulls through onto this page. You can limit the number if you just want a couple to show, or you can hand select reviews, and you can grab it. Perhaps it says on a seller page, so you want to just grab the seller related reviews. You can do that and then go ahead and click save whenever you've got the reviews selected that you would like. And then lastly, the form, which I know we touched on as well. So that is an overview of each of the different sections that you can add to your Curaytor website pages as you are creating content.